Welcome to our first official battle recap report. All right, Tim, so you're first up. This is your 1,500 point list, getting ready for the COC, right?
Yes, correct.
So if you can go ahead and just walk us through your army and tell us why you have kind of the units you have and what you're taking them and what you're going to do with them here.
Okay, so we'll start off. I have a Wolf Guard Battle Leader, Thunderhammer Storm Shield Runic Armor. He's joining a squad of Fenrisian Wolves, 13 Fenrisian Wolves. I have a squad of Wolf Guard on bike, and I've taken a drop pod for them. I have a squad of Grey Hunters, 2 Melta, pack leader with Combi Melta Bomb and a drop pod, Blood Claws, and their pack leader has a Combi Melta Bomb and a drop pod. I have a squad of Thunderwolves with a Power Fist, and I'm sorry, it doesn't have it, but my sergeant has a Storm Shield on him. Same thing for this squad, so a second squad, identical. And then I have the Storm Fang with the upgrades. This is the heavy support, not the troop choice.
Is there anything in particular you're worried about in your list that you are afraid that Garrett's going to come at you with that you're not? So this is your first time playing against Garrett? So.
Yes, yeah, first time playing against Garrett. Honestly, there's nothing. I know he has a lot of Melta, but you know, I'm not too scared of the Melta. You know, I'm not taking the Dreadnoughts in this list, so. Outside of that, Arjak can be devastating. He has Arjak with his strength 10 Thunderhammer can be devastating, you know, versus my Thunderwolves.
Excellent, sir. Well, good luck, and we'll see you in the battle.
All right, cool.
Editor's note, we know the bikes can't go in the drop pod. No comments, please.
All right, so Garrett, this is your first time playing Tim. And so if you can go ahead and just walk us through what you have on your list here, and we'll have Casey go ahead and record it for us here, and kind of just give us an idea of what you have in the army here.
All right, so starting from this side, I have an Exorcist over in the front there, and if you go to the other side, I have another Exorcist over there. So I have 2 Exorcists. Those are kind of just my, they're durable units because they have front armor 13, and they're great firepower because their strength 8 AP1 weapons just can devastate a lot of things. Then these 2 units in the front, on the right side, I have a squad of Dominions with 4 Melta guns and a Veteran Superior, and they're in a Immolator with a Twin-Linked Multi-Melta and Dozer Blade. They're kind of a harasser unit. They can scout up and do a nice alpha strike, or they can outflank in and come in. They get ignores cover once per game. They're just a great kind of anti-tank, anti-elite infantry unit. And then here I got a Battle Sister Squad with a Melta Gun, Heavy Flamer, and an Immolator with a Twin-Linked Multi-Melta and Dozer Blade. They're one of my troop choices. They're objective secured. They're versatile with the Heavy Flamer and the Melta Gun. And their Immolator is another Multi-Melta that's great anti-tank, great anti-heavy infantry. All-around kind of very versatile unit. Starting in the back, I have a 10-man Battle Sister Squad with a Heavy Flamer Melta Gun. And they're in a Space Wolf drop pod. Sorry, the Crusaders are Battle Sisters today. I forgot to bring 5 Battle Sisters. And then I have another Dominion squad with 4 Melta guns and in a drop pod. And I have a Canoness in there with an Inferno Pistol, Melta Bombs, Rosarius, and Mantle of Ophelia. They're similar to the other Dominions, except they kind of do a first turn, Alpha Strike, come in, shoot shit. And kill things. And they're in a Space Wolf drop pod. And then I have this squad. It's I have my Priest with Litanies of Faith, a Power Axe and Melt Bombs, and a Bolt Pistol. And then I have 3 Wolf Guard Terminators with Thunderhammer Storm Shields. I have Arjak, and I have a Rune Priest with Runic Armor, a Runic Axe, Melt Bombs, and Mastery Level 2. And they're in a Space Wolf drop pod. So this unit is my hammer unit. They basically come in and they hit things once they come in the drop pod to be an immediate threat that they have to deal with, and if not dealt with, then they can go in and hammer into unit, and the Priest gives them all re-rolling saves, so they're pretty much indestructible in melee with 2-up armor saves and 3-up invulns. The Priest is my Warlord because this is the safest place to have a Warlord in the army. surrounded by a bunch of Terminators, and he's giving reroll saves. And then over here I have a Servitor for my second elite choice.
And do you have anything that you're afraid of in Tim's army? I mean, it's the first time you guys have played together. So.
One huge thing is he has a flyer, which I have absolutely no AA in my 1,500 point list. So that the flyer, the thing about his flyer is it actually can push out a lot of firepower, so it could be a huge problem for me. A lot of other flyers, like Flying Hive Tyrants, are pretty easy to kind of ignore, but this one may not be. Other than that, my melee hammer squad is actually really, really tough in melee, so I'm feeling like if I can lock up as many of his tough Thundercab units in melee as possible, then I could really neuter a lot of the strengths of his army and keep mine alive. So other than that, it's really just his flyer I'm probably worried about. His drop pods may also be an issue.
Excellent, sir. Well, we will catch up with you after the game, and we'll do a post-game analysis with you guys and see how it went down. Sure. All right. So this is practice for the COC, so we're going to be rolling on the ITC missions, missions 2, 3, or 5. And so, Tim, if you would be so kind as to go ahead and roll the mission for us.
So that'll be 3.
3, which will be Relic. All right, guys, so here we are with our post-game analysis between Garrett and Tim. So why don't you guys go ahead and tell me what happened in the end there?
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
So at the end, I prevented myself from being tabled because it was not going my way. So by pretty much running away and scoring a line breaker there at the end.
Yeah.
So final score was 7-4.
Yeah. I think during the game, what kind of happened is I kind of threw a lot of units in my deployment zone that kind of brought a lot of his army forwards, and he was definitely avoiding my Death Star, which I was kind of afraid he'd do, but also it gave me a lot of board control by throwing them in the center of the board. So what ended up happening with Tim is he went all the way into my deployment zone with all of his units, and so then and while the Relic ran away back into his deployment zone. And so then I drop podded back there and was able to kind of eliminate the Relic unit. And because my Death Star was in the way between the Relic and all those guys in my deployment zone, I was able to kind of force his movement and keep him away from the Relic, and then I grabbed him in the game. And I mean, as I kind of commented on the beginning, my Death Star can't pour through any unit.
So it was, what I was trying to do was, of course, avoid his Death Star, like he was saying. I was not remembering, because I don't play Sisters that often, that he had to ignore his cover, because I was like, oh, melt a bunch of Melta-Guns, I'm just going to jink, and I will survive. And ignores cover, well, never mind. So then I was not expecting all of the invulnerable saves on the other squad, and for me to get immobilized with my flyer with the Stormwolf.
That was a big game changer.
Yeah, that right there changed the game a lot, because with him making all of those saves and that squad surviving, it allowed him to assault in.
Yeah, the one unit that I was terrified that whole game was his Stormwolf, because I had no way of dealing with it while I was in the air. I literally have no AA. But basically what I did is, because all of his melee guys annihilated my back end and he kind of shot with it, his flyer had no targets to go after. And he had an immediate threat right next to it, so he had to drop into hover mode.
Yeah.
And that basically, and having that Eternal Warrior and 4-up invulnerable save on my cannon saved all the saves, so they didn't take anything, so the Dominions were able to go in and just kind of annihilate the
So is there anything that, based on this game, that you guys would change for your list moving forward?
On the list, no. I know one thing we talked about was I completely forgot that I could turbo boost with the Relic, because I was thinking, I was going to run with the Relic. No,
Turbo boost 6.
Turbo boost 6, which would have gotten it farther away.
Although that probably would have actually worked more after I was thinking about it, because I think what really crippled you is that you got the Relic away from your high threat targets that were able to do a lot of damage. So you kind of separated the Relic from your whole army. So I was able to bring you into your cover and kill you, and then after I kill all your guys, your guys couldn't come over and save the day by, because if your Thunderwolves charged my Dominions, I would have been out and dead.
Yeah,
so you should have actually brought the relic towards my deployment zone and kept the relic with, like, just keep them with all your Thunderwolves, because then I would have had to, bring the Death Star towards that, and it's just like, and then you could have also supported the relic, and my Death Star would have been the only thing going for me, and like if I shot with the Dominions, the Thunderwolves would have charged the Dominions and slaughtered them. So that's what I noticed during the end of the game. Like, this went well for me because I was able to control the relic the whole game once I just dropped pod in.
So if I'm understanding correctly, it was a failure in tactics, not a failure in list design.
I really enjoyed the list. I thought it was good for 1,500 votes.
How about for yours, Garrett? Same thing?
I was very hesitant about the drop pod first on dropping the Death Star, but actually I started to realize that it really, really works well because I can drop pod them in the center of the board and get, as I said, like a huge board control. Rolling endurance is really helpful because then it mitigates a lot of the shooting that squad can make. He didn't have a lot of shooting, but it's always a concern of mine. But yeah, just I do really like drop hunting that squad in. Drop hunting Dominions is really, really good. You get to place them where you want them. Yeah, I think the list overall, I mean, at 1,500 points, it's really hard to play around with things, especially when you have like a 400 point score. Yeah, I probably wouldn't really change much. I was thinking with the Dominion canonists dropping like Eternal War in the throw, but after seeing that, it saves so many Dominion slides by having your tank.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you for getting your game in. Thanks for letting us record it for you, and we'll catch you next time.